call this regular meeting of the Jacksonville City Council to order. I want to thank everyone who's come out tonight. We have a full house in here, and also thank those that are watching on G10 television. At this time, we're going to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Council Member Logan Sosa, followed by the invocation by our City Attorney.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Heavenly Father, as always, we pause at this time to give you thanks. To give you thanks for this day, to give you thanks for the blessings and benefits you bestow upon us corporately as the City of Jacksonville and upon each of us individually. You have gifted each of us with so many years of life, and you have gifted each of us with so many resources during those years of life. We pray that we individually and that we corporately, as governments, can use those years and resources wisely and always use them in accordance with your will and direction. We pray for our military members who are serving here and around the world, for their safety, their anxious families. And as always, we pray for our mayor and for our council, that your guidance and your direction would be with them. This we ask in your holy name. Amen. Amen.
Provided a copy of the agenda for tonight's meeting. This time I'd entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. All right, that brings us to our first section of public comment. I got several people that have signed up. So I'm going to read a little thing that's in our council rules. It's now time for the public comment portion of the agenda. This is the time that the council has set aside during each regular meeting to hear comments from the public. This is not a question and answer session, but a time for you to express your views on city issues to the council. Each speaker who signed the public comment sign-up sheet may come to the podium when I call your name. Please state your name and address for the record, and you may speak for three minutes, and there'll be a timer tonight. When the timer at the podium it's on the podium and on the screen up there. When it turns yellow, that means that you got about 30 seconds remaining, so you may want to wrap up what you have to say. So with that, I will call the first person on the list here, Mr. Christopher Doherty.
My address is 1308 Harris Road in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Good evening, Mayor, members of council, ladies and gentlemen. I serve as general counsel to CIG Management, which is the parent organization of Newtown Center Apartments. I'm not licensed to practice in North Carolina, so I'm limited as to what I can say here today by both time and scope. So you can rest easy, because I promise I will not bore you with any fancy legal talk. What I would like to do this evening is talk briefly about my clients. Technically, my client is a company that exists as ink on paper, a blank entity. But that entity has a soul and a very big heart. I like to think of my clients as a team of diverse, dynamic individuals, each with a specific set of skills. A team that, while running an enterprise, wants to do it while doing good deeds. But as the Irish poet once said, no good deed goes unpunished. And never has that been truer in the case of my clients. I watched a recent city council meeting during which a lot of bad things were said about my clients. Bad things and incorrect things. Discussing their water bill in public without them being here to defend themselves. As an attorney, it's hard to watch something like that. Makes you want to take action to protect them, and I hope I never have to. My clients came to Jacksonville with good intentions. They came here to transform a neglected property into renewed, clean, safe, affordable housing. They've been successful at doing this in communities ranging from Woodstock, Virginia, which is way up near the border of West Virginia, all the way down to Roxborough and Greenville and places in between. And they have a reputation for working with local government to do great things and provide much needed affordable housing in those communities. And we thought we had a good working relationship with this locality as well. But it appears that there are forces at work here that would strain that relationship. What I'm going to suggest to you this evening is that you please listen to what my clients have to say. They're here on a mission, and they are here in good faith. But please don't mistake their good intentions for weakness, because they are determined to see this project through and will go to great lengths to do so. They want good things for this community. This is a good community. Let them complete their mission. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Justin Inquist.
Justin Inquist, 557 Oak Grove Road, Chesapeake, Virginia. Good evening, Mayor, council members. I'm as the Community and Construction Officer with CIG. I'm here to address the construction side of things at New Town Center. There seems to be a real disconnect between what CIG is here to do and what the city thinks we are here to do. I'd like to be clear, to try to clear the record tonight and make sure we are all working together on a common goal. To be clear, we are here to provide safe, clean, affordable housing to help solve the overwhelming need for housing in Jacksonville. We are also here to repair and restore the existing buildings and infrastructure of New Town Center to a safe, clean, usable condition with updated finishes, surfaces inside and out. We are here to create New Town Center as a place where our servicemen and women, as well as all other Jacksonville residents, will be proud to call home and feel safe raising their families. We are here to invest tens of millions of dollars to provide needed housing as well as improvements and amenities to the property that will truly benefit our residents and add to their quality of life. We are seeking to follow reasonable common sense practices and find strategic ways to restoring this community and being able to provide housing in the quickest way possible. Let me also be clear, we are not here to conform New Town Center to something it is not, to rebuild it according to codes designed for new developments, to waste millions of dollars on new development standards and requirements from the newly adopted UDO meant for new development construction, spending millions of dollars on things such as have nothing to do with providing housing or raising a resident's quality of life, such as tons of specialty landscaping, specialty fencing, all these things that do nothing but inhibit and delay our ability to provide clean, safe, livable, existing housing units. We are not here to tear down buildings that would provide more needed homes just because they don't meet the new setback codes, even though they have been there since the 50s and have never been a threat or harm to the residents before. You have already helped us save a bunch of our units, which we are very thankful for in your last vote, but there are still more units that we're being told we have to tear down. I'm asking you to support us tonight, just as your first vote, to help us overcome all these obstacles, to help us not be singled out and held to an unreasonable UDO standard that is fiscally impossible to achieve. We need your support in a fair process to determine the condition of units, such as I have recommended that we bring in a third-party engineering firm to make an unbiased determination of the actual condition of the units and which units have repairs and which do in fact need permits. And not to just blanket treat them all like they're all the same, because they're all in different conditions. We need more streamlined permitting process that is by building and not unit. And I ultimately desire to work together with you to deliver these almost 700 units in the quickest way possible to be able to use our resources to provide heads and beds and not flowers and fences. Thank you.
Steve, I can't read your last name, Souther?
Good afternoon, Mayor, members of council, Mr. Carter, Mr. Ray. It's a pleasure and privilege to be up here tonight to speak in front of both of you and for you to listen to our comments. We had petitioned to have this put on an agenda so we could vote on the water bill tonight. It was denied. So I just want to educate you on where we're at with our water bill and what we would like you to get consideration when you have your closed door meeting tonight. I've put together a small packet for all of you to look at. If you look at the first page of the CIG utilities, it breaks it down to how much we pay in wastewater, stormwater, and what we paid in water. Out of pocket to date, since May, when we bought the property, we paid $243,902.86. Of that, water cost was $264,102.86. If you break that down per unit, we're paying $377.29 per month to have water turned on there. The reason is we have meters that are tied to other meters that there are no people are. If you look at the attached bills that are on here, you'll see 0 gallon usage and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that we've continued to pay for the last 10 months. We have an uncontested water charge that I've put together that gives you a base rate. It adds a stormwater and gives a waste total for $7,810 a month and 40 cents. You do the math on the right-hand side, and I'll be glad to answer any questions on how I get to my figure. We see that we're owed a credit of $165,798.86. When we met with Joshua Ray and John Carter a few weeks ago, we had discussed some solutions to meet your bonds and covenants, and it was to cap off the each of the apartments. That's not a viable option. I came up with a much viable option. And when I proposed that viable option, I was told we need a copy of a map. This is a map that we've been asking for 10 months now, that we were told that it doesn't exist. I've called several city managers in several different cities and said, where would you keep this map? Would you have a map if you had a 93-acre property with 694 units? It would be kept in the engineering department. Well, lo and behold, last week, Mr. Ray presented to me that they did find, in fact, this map that shows how 55 units are attached to each other and 2 of them are being occupied right now. We're paying for 53 other units that 0 water is being used. So when you vote tonight, after you meet and talk, ask yourselves, are the city employees putting themselves to bed thinking of ways that they can stand in front of CIG to put a wall up to cease our advancement at Town Center? Or are they putting themselves to bed each night asking themselves, how can we help CIG to help them make Jacksonville great again? I ask that this chicanery stops and you come up with a pragmatic way that we can move forward and work together. I thank you for your time tonight. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them about my packet.
Marcy Buckman. Please state your name and address for the clerk to record.
Hello, I'm Marcy Buckman. My address is 710 Ador Drive, Richlands, North Carolina. Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm Marcy. I'm the property manager at Newtown Center. Last Friday, it pained me to have to give notices to my residents. I was extremely upset. I did take some time off from the company, and it was because of the amount of stress with this whole water issue. And actually, I was threatened by one of your city water billing guys, one of the boss guys. I can't think of his name right now, but he did threaten to give me a letter telling me that I would go to jail. So there was just a lot of stress, and I needed to take a break from that. So I did. But I never stopped thinking about my residents. I love all of them. They've all been wonderful. So I came back to be a part of this project and to be there for my residents. Since coming back to work for KevProp, Our team has completed over 300 work orders, and we currently have 0. We haven't raised any rent on our residents, just asked for help with the water. All we've done was work with our tenants on payments this whole time, because we understand that life's hardships, and we're currently owed right now about $36,000. Not one person has been evicted yet. We have shown them dedication, that we're there for them in any time that they need something. We've gone in through their units and done any repairs possible. We've spent money on electricity problems, everything. We've kept the grass really nice. We've treated them like family. So I'm asking that you guys can please help work with our water problem so we can afford to keep our residents here, because we all know that the housing out there right now is scarce. There is no places to go. The houses that they're in, I've been in every one of them. They're all safe. And if they weren't, we've made it safe for them. So I just ask that you guys find it in your heart to please work with us. We have lots of residents that have been there for over 20 years. This is their home. Thank you.
Brad Newton.
Mayor, council, thank you for having us here. 13 of my team members have come tonight to, again, come before you to ask for your help. Our hope, as you heard from lots of our other members, is that we can continue to be able to deliver. We've invested at this point over $20 million in Town Center. We have $20 million more to invest, on average $30,000 per unit, complete transformations. We have a duty to our residents, to our investors, to our entire company, and to the town to transform Town Center. So I've come here tonight, as I came before you before, to talk about some of the issues and just reiterate what some of my team members have already said. Our team has never faced this kind of resistance. And it has not been from the city council. It has been from the city employees. To not mince words, there is clearly corruption in this city in the clearest form. My attorney, my general counsel, has already looked at that and very quickly realized the level of corruption going on, whether it be from the building department, this UDO insanity, this quasi unsafe, not condemned level. Tonight, you were going to be asked, and we were told if by the prior Friday we were submitted for the agenda, it would be voted on to help us with the bill at Town Center. Well, I was asked, and I felt extorted to sign that all of Town Center is considered to be condemned, or it was not going to be put on the agenda. There's people living there. There's beautiful units that we have followed the 900,000 codes in 8 months to get 4 units done in COs. They're not condemned. CIG, Community Invest Group, will not be extorted. We cannot be bought. This property is not for sale. I am the only signature, and I will meet and I will talk and I will do whatever I can. But unfortunately, as of last Friday, just like we met with some of you before, almost a month ago, and said, we will not continue to subsidize the residents of New Town Center at over tens of thousands of dollars a month. We are owed $225,000 as it sets right now. And I don't appreciate it being stated that we owe a $60,000 bill when we're really owed credits and being charged for something we didn't. So I just want your help. They're going to take you into a closed door session that just basically says that, I'll tell you the truth before it goes closed, is just because I wouldn't sign that Town Center is condemned, it won't go for a vote tonight to just give us our credit on the bill. So what has happened as of last Friday is we cannot subsidize it any longer. I'm scared for the residents' the water to be cut off. So all of them have been given a notice of 30 days to vacate, and they have nowhere to go. We have no intention of them leaving, but we have no choice left without your support. We ask for your support.
Thank you. Kristen Todd.
Good evening, Kristen Todd, 219 Kensington Way in Chesapeake, Virginia. I am here on behalf of the employees. I'm the Human Resources Director for Community Investment Group. I actually hired Sweet Marcy in May. It is our mission, absolute mission, when we are hiring our staff, that we hire the best quality to be able to transform our community and take care of our residents. It's incredibly, incredibly important. Marcy, along with Parnell and Brandon, are actively on site, transforming or attempting to transform. But not only that, I have prior experience in military housing. It's my understanding that 1,000 military members are coming to the area shortly. Where will they live? I won't pull it out. I'll just say we have an employee. Her name is Addie Hernandez for Kev Property Management. She is a veteran of the military, and her husband is still a service member. She shared with me today the process of getting housing when they came from Texas to Virginia. It was horrific, horrific. They are husband and wife and 3 children. The wait for military housing was 1.5 years. So what did they do? Let's listen to this. What did they do? For 6 months, they stayed in a 240 square foot hotel. 6 months. 6 months. A husband and wife and 3 children. So right now, we've sent notices to these residents. Where will they live? Will they live in a 240 square foot hotel? Or, like some service members who are forced to transfer to the area, will they live in their cars? We don't want that. It is my absolute mission, along with the company, to keep Newtown Center going. I am behind the Human Resources Department, and we want to bring on more quality. We call them community transformation specialists. It's not even property management. We want to transform the community. We want to bring on the staff members to do that. I just recently interviewed some folks, and I'm on pause right now. They want to come in. They've read the story of Newtown Center. It's incredibly important to them. So I just ask on behalf of the company, I am all in, we're all in. Please let us move forward and help keep these residents out of a 240 square foot hotel, their vehicles. We've got safe, clean, affordable homes for them. Please let us keep those homes. Thank you.
James Dildy.
Good evening, Mayor, good evening, City Council members. My name is James Doherty. I live in 300 New River Drive. And the reason I'm here is because I'm mad and I'm angry. Because I'm a veteran. And I did not put my life on the line to be fighting for a home. I expect this from a communist country. I expect this from a third world country that's been with warlords taking people out of their homes. I expect that. I do not expect that in the USA. I didn't put my life on the line and my body. I did not bleed and sweat to be doing something like this. You people, why don't you help them? We're better than this, aren't we? Isn't the USA a better country than we say that? Then act like it, prove it. Help these people do their job. Do not let kids who's in their homes, they need stability. I see kids from my window playing in the school Little kids, how do you tell a little kid that he's going to have to move? They need stability. If you keep moving a kid around, their cognitive abilities in school, they decline. Their emotional awareness, it declines. If you keep doing this, their social skills decline. Why would you blow up their world? Why? For what purpose would you blow up a kid's world that's already stable right now? Why blow that up? It makes no sense to me. And we're the USA, right? You got to do better. Thank you.
Rose Pulley.
Hello, I'm Rose Pulley. I live at 32 Valley Way, Henderson, North Carolina. I'm the regional for Kev Property Management, and I just want to give you a little bit of history that I have with Community Investment Group. I have been at a job for almost 20 years. I met Brad Newton during an acquisition. He told me his background, what the company was about, the insights that they had into everything, where they wanted to do everything. And he actually took that company, it was an acquisition, and I'm like, hey, I want to be a part of that. So he actually bought that property. The day of the closing of the property, he actually had vehicles ready to start tearing down the trees to transform. I like, when I'm doing all my interviews with the people that we're looking to hire, I like to use the trilogy or analysis of, you're taking an ugly duckling and turning it into a beautiful swan. So I know you guys are having a struggle with this, and if you really, we're about the residents. It's about giving back to the community. The things, you guys have no idea what our company does. If you just go visit some of the properties that's been purchased and upgraded, then you would say, wow. Because if you see the before and after, it's amazing. And we're all about the residents. Right now, our hands are tied. So we don't want anybody to go anywhere. We're here for the housing. And I can tell you that our feet are dug in. We don't plan on going anywhere. And we're just going to see this through to the end. So I hope you'll consider and work with us and help us so that we can keep all these folks in their homes. Thank you for your time.
Scott Haber.
Good evening, City Council. How are you this evening? First off, let me thank you on behalf of my brother, Justin, and my wife, Dottie, for taking care of our situation that was in our apartment. We are down to 1%, less than 1% of them remaining in our apartment. We hope to have it done by next Monday. Will hopefully be the last time the bug guys got to come out and do our apartment. Also, last month when I was in front of City Council, City Council knows what I said. I did an interview on Channel 9 News on Thursday, and if I may, or if somebody would please like to come get this, I was represented with this on Friday as a scare tactic. And as done out of spite from Kev and CRG, or CIG. Council, as I told you before, and as I told you guys again, CRG has nothing that they want to do with our residents. They want nothing but for us to leave. The reason why we were served with these notices is because they cannot afford to pay their water bills. They have added fees to each and everybody's rent for us to pay higher rents that we cannot afford. They have lied to us from the beginning they came in. And Marcy, who was supposedly the property manager, had quit from CRG and Kev. Why she came back, I don't know what deal they worked out with her, but they worked out some deal to bring her back. I'm here to tell you that City Council, and they can say whatever they want to say, The residents that you're gonna hear here tonight are the ones that are gonna tell the truth. They're the ones that are lying to you. Yes, we as the residents want Town Center to flourish. We do not want to see any of the residents in Town Center get thrown out. That is their plan. That is what they've wanted to do from the get-go. And the fact that they do owe $60,000 to the water company, that is 100% true. I have witnesses that can contest to that. So please, do not listen to anything that they got to say, because they are not speaking the truth. Take everybody that's here tonight, all the residents that came out here. Take them into consideration. Take them out of the equation. They came in here with the wrong plans. And one other thing I heard to the grapevine, that they've been sued before. This is not the first time that they've been sued, and it's not going to be the last. Look them up. Do some research on them. They're not a good company. Thank you very much, City Council.
David Hills.
My name is David Hills, Virginia Beach, Virginia. Appreciate your time tonight. Just wanted to just kind of add to the culture of CIG and the true thought behind everything that we do, and it is for clean, safe, and affordable housing. I wish some of you could be behind our closed doors at our office and realize the conversations that happen. And it's truly just after the good of the resident and what can we do to improve their lives and improve the community that they live in, improving safety. And it's just something that we want to continue to do here. We were with some of the construction guys today, and they were just talking about if they didn't have any of the red tape, that they could be doing 60 to 80 units a month and the renovation. And so I just ask that you guys continue to work on streamlining the process for us. We just want to do good things and provide safe homes for the residents. Thank you.
Tony Harold.
Let's see here. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. My name is Tony Harold. I'm from the Chesapeake, Virginia area, as well a member of CIG and an investor and owner in Town Center. And you all have been here before, so you all know my background for the most part and who I am and what I do and the things that I've said. I'm going to watch my time because I could go forever, as we stand here tonight. So I'm going to kind of turn sideways, if you'll pardon my back, and really address the audience here because you all don't know us. You don't know me. I've spent some time with some of you, Mr. Mike, and some of you on council. But the rest of you all, you don't know us. And you can only go by what you hear. And you're hearing different sides of a story. And, as we were driving down from Virginia Beach today and last night, I was kind of thinking about what exactly would I say. And it's changed a couple of 2 or 3 times. And finally I decided to wait. It's kind of hard to prepare a speech for an audience when you don't know the entire audience. So I didn't know who all was going to be here, didn't know what individuals may say or share. And so I decided to reserve what I would say based off of what is real to you. To all of you. To all of you. So this isn't a prepared speech because I didn't know what you were going to say or what anybody else may say. But what I hear, looking at my time, one of the things I thank God for that I've been blessed with been in a lot of environments like this. Worked for the governor of Virginia, Governor Douglas, L. Douglas Wilder, if anybody knows about that campaign. He became the first black governor in the United States of America. I was blessed and fortunate to have the opportunity to work on his campaign and in his office, in the governor's office, and run a state. So I've dealt with a lot of this, but the way that I've always approached it with 52 seconds left, it's always about conflict resolution. You know, in a state or in a country or in a community, it's a lot of times one person's opinion and things that have happened to them, really, and how they come to feel now. We met and we started off on a good note, and then things got really messed up. We met and things started off on a good note, but I'm getting phone calls all the way up to Virginia, really bad things that are being said to us by you, councilman. And it doesn't feel good, and by you as well. I'm just telling the truth the way you do.
That's right.
And it doesn't feel good with 7 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What needs to happen is we need to finish up this session tonight. Prayerfully, you all will vote in favor of what we're trying to do as a company so that we can continue that. And then at some point, we need to all get back together and rebuild our relationships. There needs to be healthy relationships and healthy, truthful communications in Jacksonville.
Jessica Souther.
Good evening, City Council, Mayor. My name is Jessica Souther, and this is a different environment than what I've been used to presenting in. Wherever I've gone with CIG, we've been welcomed and embraced by the community, and so for me, this feels very different. I guess I'll just start off a little bit by telling you what I do for the company. My, I guess, official title, whatever that means, is I am the Community Investment Officer. So actually I have 2 titles, but that one, Brad likes to call me that because he believes that my work is to invest in the communities. And what I do is I am a bridge, I facilitate relationships between the community and CIG. And so I spend a lot of time with a lot of different organizations, building relationship the way we would like to do with y'all and the way we would like to do with organizations in Jacksonville as well. We have streamlined a process as to how we select our partnerships, and then we really do our best to lift up the community. And with that, we usually partner with people who are very close to the community so that the community is really, we're infusing life into the community by lifting up the people who are already working there. And that is something that we would like to do in Jacksonville. Obviously, you can tell by this evening, our relationship has not been ideal since the beginning, right? So we haven't gotten to that point yet, but that's really where I want to get, and that's my role. Our division of CIG that is dedicated to this is called Community Connections, with the tagline, Partnerships with a Purpose. And that's really what we want to do. And so just, in summary, I am the last person to speak from CIG. I just want to kind of give you an understanding of the fact that we really do value our residents. We really do understand the magnitude of the responsibility that comes in multifamily investing. It's not just buildings, it's not just grass, it's people's homes. And we really do understand that, and we want to take responsibility for that. And we feel convicted that that is our role. If we are going to step into this arena, then we're taking that responsibility. And so I just wanted to give you a picture of things that maybe you haven't seen of us yet because we haven't gotten there. But it is a huge part of our company, and I am honored to be the one to lead that up. And if anyone has any questions or anything, I mean, not at this time, I understand this is not that venue, I would love to speak to any of those questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Latasha Carter, is that, I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Hello, my name is Alexandra Carter, 1806 South Drive. I've been living here since 2012. I gave birth to my baby here. It's just me and him. We're perfectly fine in our apartments. Marcy and Purnell has done everything that they needed to do to help me out, to help my apartment, to help my baby. We don't have anywhere to go. None of us have anywhere to go. We work hard. We do what we're supposed to do. So we're asking for help with the water bill. If the water is what's stopping you from helping them make things better for us, put yourself in our shoes. You don't want to be homeless. You don't want to uproot your kids. It's the middle of the school year. It's just not right. We just ask for a little bit of help. That's it.
Joshua Melendez.
Hi, I'm Joshua Melendez. I'm at 249 Eastwood Drive. I've been with Town Center for about 4 years, maybe 5 years, coming October. When Marcy said that she came up to us last week, she did. I can tell on her face she was very distraught, very, very uncomfortable with what she was bringing me. She told me and my wife, we have 4 children, so we make up there's 69 residents in Town Center currently. We make up about 8.7% of that. And she told us that because of the water situation that we're being forced to move. Councilman Jackson, you're Ward 1, you're our ward, you know there's nowhere else to live. There's literally nowhere else to live. I've been in Jacksonville or Onslow County for going on 11 years. There is nothing in our price range. Sure, if we wanted to spend $2,000 for a 4-bedroom, 3-bedroom, yeah, we can do that with no food, no anything. What I ask is, Marcy asked us, hey, come here, talk to them about the water. If that's what is stopping, like Ty said earlier, that's what's stopping you guys from helping them, and that's what's stopping them from helping us, please do that. Whatever issues Town Center has with us or with the city, that needs to be resolved soon, I hope. I know that there's a lot of, like the gentleman said earlier, 2 sides of the story. I'm seeing both sides of the story because I've worked with Marcy, I've worked with Parcell. Parcell spent hours in my house when we first moved into that apartment with little things here and there. The AC wasn't working, he spent hours fixing that. There was, I called him the other day, hey, our oven's messing up. Within 12 hours, I had a new oven. So I'm like, okay, no problem. They're helping. As a corporation, I don't know how willing they are to help and how true their story is. I'm not going to be the one to decide that until there's more facts brought to me. But I ask for you all to vote in favor of helping them with water. The math that was presented to you seems pretty sound. And if it is sound, then I don't see a reason why you guys should not push that. And if you do decide not to, you have to remember you're putting a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 7-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old on the street. I mean, I had to skateboard here because I don't have a car at the moment because of my own personal issues, but other than that, I mean, you're literally putting us on the street otherwise. Yes, there's a community center out there, but there's a line to sit there at the community center. There's homeless people walking around the street every day just because they don't have a place to live. Don't take that away from us, please. Thank you.
Skylar
My name is Kyla Russ, and I stay on 2279 Onslow Drive. Good evening. How is everybody doing? We're going to touch bases a little bit on what the young lady has said over here about throwing us out. There's a lot of us. For instance, this is my community. This is our community as one. Throwing us out, or not necessarily throwing us out, but us not living there anymore. Some of us, for instance, me, I moved 5.5 hours away from my mom to show her that I can do it on my own. Me not having anywhere else to stay, there is nowhere. I live by myself. I pay my own bills. I get to work on time. I do my own thing. I've tried looking at other places for me to live at. There is none. There's none in anybody's price range. Second of all, I want to touch bases. A lot of these people are kind of elders. Where can they really go? Some of them have spent their lives here. Some has had babies here, grandkids. It's kind of a lot. That's our home. And I feel like personally, you're taking that away from us. I also feel as though it's a lot of confusion going on. I've heard bits and pieces of a little bit of everything from both sides of the story. I would just like answers. Me, myself, I don't like not being in the know about what there is going on. So I would love some clarification to that if somebody would explain it. I do remember the rules. You guys said this is not a question and answer. So I agree with that. We would like some help. We do need some help. Since I've been living here for 2.5 years, I'd say. They've been of great help. We had, for instance, I remember the man over there, he talked about he had a bug problem. I did too. They come over, average like twice a month to come spray. Cool. I've had problems with my washer, with my dryer. They've came to come fix it. So they're working on it. No, they're not perfect. Yes, some things could be better, but they are working on it. So I would appreciate it if you guys would work with them as well. Thank you.
Josephine Calendar.
Hi, my name is Josephine Calendar. I've been living in Town Center since 2005. Always paid my rent on time. Only thing I want to get up here and say what everybody else been saying. We need help. Where are we going to go? 30 days, just like that? Where are we going to go? Where are we going to get the money to move? Where are we going to get a truck? Where are we going to, How could we be comfortable now? I can't even sleep well because I got to wonder where I'm going. I don't have nowhere to go. $12 and $1,300 a month. I might as well get a house. Can't afford that either. So I'm comfortable where I'm at. I love Townsend. I love Marcy. Help us. That's all we want is some help and give us a chance. That's it.
Daniel Williams.
Good evening, City Council. My thing is, I think it's so heartless to ask somebody to move in 30 days. You know, like my wife was saying, I've been staying here for 19 years, never missed no rent, never missed paying rent or nothing. Apartment I'm in now, paint, can't get fixed up. I'm on the list, paint, chipping and everything, you know. I just think it's heartless to ask somebody to move out 30 days. You got to move out 30 days. And if you don't move out, you got to pay double. You know, I just think it's heartless. We just need some help, that's all. You know, and thanks for your time, that's all.
Leola Williams.
Look, I'm just going to say the same thing.
You need to. Okay.
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 We all need help, okay? It's just going to say the same things, over and over. We all need help. I've been with Town Center now for 12 years, okay? So, I'm just going to say the same thing. We all need help.
Thank you for coming. Marcus Myers Hunter. I really need you to come to the podium.
How y'all doing? Marcus Myers Hunter. I live at, my address is 303 Starling Street. I want to say the same thing, like these fine people behind me been saying. 30 days to be 30 days. It's kind of messed up and it's kind of short notice. And since I've been sitting here, I'm not in the know of what's going on here, but for me sitting here listening, it's kind of messed up on both sides, and it's kind of it hurts and ridiculous to hear that how we got to use the residents here, people here, as a muscle for y'all to understand or get them to get what they needed, and not hearing from y'all of understanding of what's going on, that there's people here. There's people here, and we're sitting in the middle just being tugged. If you're going to let that happen of whatever they needed, you're not going to do it, cool. But you need to help these people. You got to help these people. You got to help us, You got to come with a counter. Like I said, I'm not in no. What's the counter of that? I'm not sitting here asking the question. I'm trying to put that thought in y'all minds. What's the counter of that, right? Saying no, okay, how are we going to help these people? How are you going to help? What's the next move? Same as that. Whatever y'all got going on, how are we going to help these people? That's when I'm really upset at hearing it. Like, how y'all gonna help these people? That's why I'm here. That's why I came here to hear. And that's why I would like to see, as being the residents, on time, paid rent, veteran, came out 14 June. I've been here for over 10 years, living here, serving my country here, and that's what I want to see. How are you gonna help these people? Just as y'all, for y'all, how y'all gonna help these people? Not being stiff-armed or whatever, 30 days. How you gonna help these people on the long run at the after? What's gonna come next? What's doing this now? What's gonna happen later? Even if, us people being gone, I don't want to see this again. Being used like this, same thing. I don't want to see this again, waiting to hear, us got to move out on the street. They got to have a counter for this. What's next? That's all I say.
Thank you. Joshua Sparks.
Afternoon, Mayor, Council. My name is Joshua Sparks. I live at 2286 Onslow Drive. And at this point, it basically comes down to what everybody else has said. I can't speak on behalf of the city side. I can't speak on behalf of Kev property side, but as a resident, you have people here that there's a lot of places that, just like here, housing's hard to find. So people turn to New River for that affordable housing. Without it, there is nowhere else. So, like everybody else has reiterated, you do end up on the streets, and it's a scary thing whenever you come home on Friday and on your door, you see that you and your family has 30 days whenever you're already at ends meet. So, I know at this point it's probably beating a dead horse, saying what everybody else has said, but myself personally, I've seen other managers at Town Center. And again, I can't speak for the new management, just like I can't speak for the city of Jacksonville. But personally, there's a difference here. Initially with other property management companies, you didn't even know they were there. You didn't feel welcome. You knew that you were staying somewhere that felt low income. So you felt like you were essentially just surviving there and you had no help, you were on your own. Here I know I can call the office, I can have my help, I can have my needs met. Yes, there is problems. There's going to be problems with everywhere you live. But whenever you are hitting at ends meet, you deal with certain things. But at the same time, I know the city of Jacksonville cares about its citizens. And it looks like this property management company cares about their tenants. So each side has their differences, each side has their problems, but when it comes down to the people, the residents and the tenants, if there's some way of working together for the people, then I think it's going to be in everybody's best interest. I mean, it's not going to be easy for anybody, but it's better than 30 days. You have everybody here staring at you in the streets. But I appreciate your time, and thank you all.
Keely.
Keely Cavallo.
Ah, okay. Now I can see it. Cavallo. Okay.
Hello, my name is Keely Cavallo, and I live at 2286 Onslow Drive. Before that, it was actually 306 New River Drive. And that was when my spouse said that we didn't even know the people that we rented from, we didn't. When Marcy and all of them came in, they didn't know who we were. They didn't know anybody lived there. And Marcy was like, hi, this is who we are. And since then, I have gathered a friend and a great community. Somebody, James, walking down the street. The moment he sees us, it's, hey, how are you? I've got 3 kids, and we got upgraded to a 3-bedroom, 2-bath that we are so thankful for. And actually, we came home with our kids when we found that letter. And it was very scary because as somebody that came to New River as a transitional period when we couldn't find anything else, and we didn't have time to find anything else because school and everything else, this is what we could afford. And since then, we've built a home. We have neighbors that we say hi to that enjoy our company, and we enjoy theirs. So I'm not going to continuously ask for help because you've heard it. I'm just asking you to look at us. Thank you.
Ricardo Bennett.
He just walked out.
I'm going to circle back in. Shakisha Rice.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Shakisha Rice. I stay at 393 Eastwood Drive. I'm just asking that you would give us a chance, if you would mind helping. I have my niece and nephew. I have a 1-year-old, I have a 4-year-old, and I have a 5-year-old. And if we would have to leave, we would have nowhere to go. We have no family down here. So I just ask that you would consider helping us and think about us and everybody else that have kids and the elderly people. If you could just be considerate, place it in your heart to help us as residents of the New Town Center.
Bonifacio. Resident of 348 Eastwood Drive.
That's me, sir. I just signed my name on the wrong sheet.
Can't read the first name. Belton, I believe it is. Last name 350.
No comment. Just handle this one.
Thank you. Indiana Bird.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Good evening, everyone, Your Honor. Sorry. I speak for everybody. Help us. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Ricardo Bennett.
Hi, my name is Ricardo Bennett. I live at 323 Eastwood. And the reason why I'm here, I'm confused. Before we had a meeting right from the old Piggly Wiggly, and they had sent letters say, okay, you have to move out right away because of the change of people and stuff like that. And then I went back to the office like a couple of days after. I saw two men in the office, and I was asking them, why do you have to move? And they said, no, you don't have to move right away because we are remodeling section by section. They said there's 3 sections and you are the 3rd section. So one, I always pay my rent. As a matter of fact, I've been here, well, I was in the Marine Corps. I've been here since the late 70s. And I go overseas, and then they send me back to Camp Lejeune. I go to Virginia. They send me back to Camp Lejeune now for 2 years. So I've been here. I've been living on Eastwood. I live in Hargett Street. And I'm wondering now, and I explained to her, you know, that why I have to move. Because I am trying, I did not retire out the military. And I am trying to get a place out there, but everybody is charging you like $1,200 and $1,300. You know, I can't afford that. I am still also helping my family, my son, my daughter, my sisters. I am still helping them also. So I wonder why we're getting this notice now saying 30 days you got to move out. I agree with some of these people. You know, I can't afford to move out right now. Everywhere I go, they want to overcharge your rent. Okay, so I'm here to find out why we can't stay until further. In 30 days, I don't think that is right. Okay.
I have one sheet that has Janet Pipkin.
Oh, no, I signed the wrong sheet, I'm sorry.
What sheet did you sign? We'll come back to you. Is that, how about Vanessa Bankster?
Hello, everyone. My name is Vanessa Bankston, and I'm at 2041 South Drive, my husband and my daughter. I was taking notes, and I wrote on this paper, I'm confused. So I'm going to start with the letter that they gave to us on Saturday. Friday, I spoke with Marcy. Can I go back just a second? Over here, some of those are goats and sheep's clothing. A couple of them, okay, she said I was behind 1 October rent. She said, I called her, I said, okay. She says, let's make arrangements. Okay, make arrangements. We was in one apartment 26 years, another one, they moved us into the one we're in now for 5. Saturday, I leave out the house and wasn't gone no more than 10 minutes. My daughter says, Mom, they bought another note. Marcy, I don't know his name. The paper states that we have 30 days to be out. They're putting all this blame on you guys. I'm confused. They're saying that you guys are the one won't let them go forward. Then I heard we're not charging extra rent. 2 people I met doing this sitting here. They done added $100 on their rent. Another, they're charging $99. Where's this coming from? Every time we get comfortable, they're coming up with something else. This guy, I thought that was real rude of him standing here with his back towards you guys. That's disrespectful, but I can only speak for myself. I'm upset. I've never been without water. I am 59 years old. I've never in my life been without water. Come through the door, go turn on the water is off. They say, okay, the water be back on. Let me calm down. Sorry for yelling. They said the water be back on that night. My water did not come back on until Thursday. And then they gave us the runaround. Sure, we want New River to look better than what it does. But are they doing it? Those pictures that they keep showing, I wish they'd take them and burn them. We are angry. These people are just for themselves. And I'm tired of saying that we're not animals. We're not animals. We all pay bills. And I'm so angry. I don't care if they live in a 10-storage house. We're not animals. We're humans. And before I leave, there's one man that was on Channel 10, I think it's you, I'm not for sure. But this man is fighting for the water. He said he didn't want to see the water off and this and that. And I give him praise. And I said, Lord, thank you for that man. Too many people over here is acting like they're so innocent and they just love us. No, they don't. Because my friends, again.
Ma'am,
Sorry.
our time's run out.
Time's up?
Yes,
well,
ma'am.
Can you guys
But thank you very much
do
for
what
your-
you need to do?
Thank you for your input. Yes, ma'am. Michael Nareski.
Good evening, Council. My name is Michael Henry Nareski. I'm the Executive Director and founder of You Empower You Foundation, Inc. I want you to take a second and think about two things. Only if we understand can we care. Only if we care, we can help. I've watched over the last 3 years, and I want you to think about this, everyone in this room. Just because your rattle's taken away, you're not supposed to act like babies. Business is negotiation to settle and resolve a situation, not to put people, good people, in the middle of this. That's right. For 3 years, we don't need hecklers either. For
No
3
more,
years.
no more comments from out there, or we're going to just shut it down, period. And
For 3 years, okay? Think about this for a second. Have you ever been, when you were a young child, at a bus stop, and the bully or the friend behind you pushes you but grabs you, and you feel yourself lunge? Have you felt that feeling? Have you ever looked to a cliff or going to the top of the Empire State Building or a tall building and looked off and had your stomach drop out? They live in that every day. That's right. Because it's the unknown of what consistently happens for them. There has been strides, and there's been deficits. There has been problems. You know, one of the things is that I got that letter, Marcy, not from you, that you thought you were getting. I am a North Carolina certified peer support specialist, certified through UNC School of Social Work to work in a behavioral health with people with mental health. Over the last 18 months, that was 143 families in Town Center that we work with. And I get a letter from your organization because apparently I rattle the rattle to tell me that I'm not allowed. And that letter I took threatening, because I took it threatening because it even says in here, it demands, that it went to the police department first. I got the letter 4 days later. You sent it to the police department filtered down. I got it 2 days later. Part of the people that live in there or under HUD's federal non-discrimination laws provided housing protection for individuals with disabilities, Section 8 people. They live there, okay? Congress in 2000 expanded the Protection and Advocacy Act for individuals with mental health. Tier 3 of the American Disabilities Act, with a major portion of people who live in town center, fall under. It's about they're getting individual counseling, family counseling, and behavioral health support. And here's the thing, we're it. And we're in there every day, helping people with those problems. And now I've been restricted from doing that. So I want to say this publicly. My COO's here, Virgil, okay? So you guys know, Virgil, you're fired. You can go back to work.
Mike, as a member of the board, and a COO and CFO, I have full authority, I'm firing you.
So, do we need to pass rattles on? I will. I got it. I will, and I will. My granddaughter said to me on Sunday, she came over to me sitting in my chair, 5 years old, and she said, Papa, what's wrong? And I said, nothing's wrong, honey. She said, Papa, what's wrong? And I said, honey, I'm worried because there are children just like you and younger that I have to go find houses for. Tony, I didn't have conversation when you were speaking.
Mr. Rescue, your 3 minutes are up.
I got it. And so
please sit down.
she said to me,
Down.
she gave me a hug and said, Papa, you'll fix it.
Good evening, City Council. I too served my country for 24 years, 2 combat tours in Iraq. I'm personally, as an American, saddened and embarrassed that we're here talking again about how you don't throw people out en masse in our city. I'm professionally embarrassed, and I'm also embarrassed as an American that our city council has not done enough to make sure that our citizens are protected. And that you all walk down here with your lawyer with his thin veiled threats. And you come down here, you talk about how you're here to get the military dollars, HR. Because that's what you said to us. We know what it means. You have known for over 10 years what is going on in New River. It has been even worse since Hurricane Florence hit us. And enough has not been done, and you know enough has not been done. What should have happened, no, let me go back. How we got here, how you did help us get here, we'll talk about them later. How you helped us get here is we took community development, turned it into community engagement, now it's neighborhood improvement. What you should have done was upgrade it to a housing authority. Somebody who can look over issues like this to make sure we are ahead of them before they happen. That didn't happen. I really feel some kind of way. You, Mr. Make Jacksonville Great Again, I got you. What we need to do is take care of our people. And if CIG throws any of our residents out next month, I don't care what y'all do about the water bill. Figure it out. If they throw anybody out next month, the most severe penalty that you can impose to make sure they never do business in this city or this county again, because that's not how we treat people down here. I expect you all to live up to your commitment to these people. Thank you.
All right, I think that does it. So, everybody got a chance to speak. Okay, so we're going to move on now.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Make just a few remarks for the folks here, for the mayor and council. Of course, we'll have more discussion in the closed session, but there are some things that I can say publicly. Number one, state law governs an enterprise system. What is an enterprise system? One of the enterprise systems is your water and sewer bills. There's a whole book here from the School of Government from Kara Melanzius entitled A Guide to Billing and Collecting Public Enterprise Utility Fees for Water, Wastewater, and Solid Waste Services. The mayor and council cannot even commingle these funds with the general funds. They have to be kept separately. You're accountable to your ratepayers. And the state of North Carolina has statutes, which we'll go over in more detail in closed session, and we believe that the CIG folks have been treated in accordance with those statutes. The law has that because everyone has to be treated the same. You can't treat them, it's not, let's come down here and make a deal with council over water fees. It don't work that way. You don't have that authority. You have to treat them the same as you treat me as a ratepayer and you treat the other apartment complexes as a ratepayer, et cetera. Everyone has to be fed out of the same spoon. Let me go back to 3 things that were pointed out to you. Number one person said they'd been threatened by a city employee. Another person said that we owed them $160,000. Another person said that there's bias in the administration. And the mayor and Mr. Jackson have heard all of these things in speaking with them. This is, number one, a legal matter because it is administration of the state law in reference to utility fees. And it's also a legal matter because of these kind of statements that have been made to you and to me and to Mr. Ray. There was a time, as you know, that the water was cut off at Town Center. After that, council gave a directive. John, manager, so forth, you shall not cut off the water unless council approves the cutoff. That's been given directive. In fact, the Town Center attorney wrote to me and wanted it in writing that we would give them notice before any water was cut off. And I did that. And I shared that with you and the council last time, that we had told them in writing, no water will be cut off at Town Center unless the council gives directive. And the council has not given any direction to cut any water off. The council has not sent you a 30-day eviction notice. That is from CIG, not the council. We have other tools in the toolbox. But the council has not given directive there, and they have told us as a staff that we should not do that. Again, we will be briefing council in a great more detail on this and other situations that we'll be talking about the utility laws, the account status of Town Center, and then council will give us direction as to where to go from there. But I wanted that to be public as well as all the things that have been said. Again, council has not sent eviction letters. Council has given directive that the water would not be cut off without council's direction. That has not come forward. So while the letters went out, someone else will have to say.
So council, we're going to move on to agenda item number 6 tonight, and this is the 208 to 212 New Bridge Street demolition. And we have Nick.
Did you do the adoption?
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess we need to adopt the consent items, don't we? All right, lost in the place here. Motion to adopt minutes and the consent items. The minutes are from the February 7th workshop.
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. So Nick Lanier, our senior engineer, will be presenting this item.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. I'd like to share with you tonight 208-212 New Bridge Street demolition project. And I'm sorry, I don't know how to switch the screen. I guess this is it. This first picture, you'll see the outside of the building, just to familiarize yourself with what we're talking about. I'd like to quickly give you the background for this project. It was previously discussed at the council meeting in January the 17th. At that time, a 30-day notice was voted on and approved for a 30-day notice to be given to the owner to act on the building, to either demo the building or begin renovations on the building. The building was damaged in 2018 during Hurricane Florence and has remained exposed to the elements since that time. The building has also begun to collapse and is a hazard to the general public. The photo you're looking at is an overhead shot we took with Mr. Trevor Avery's building, which is adjacent to this one. He allowed us to access his roof one day. We took this picture from overhead, and what you're looking at is the roof has collapsed. The second floor, you can see down in the picture, has collapsed. And now a majority of the structure, the interior structure, is sitting on the slab on grade. The building has approximately 20-foot tall masonry walls. The roofing and flooring system are designed to brace those walls from buckling or falling. As you can see, that bracing is now rotted away and collapsed inside the building. The two-story brick walls are unbraced from within and have started to collapse, as you can see. The building has been condemned. It is unsafe for entry. We do know that there is asbestos in the floor mastic underneath the flooring in the building. We have some tests to show that. The structure is also connected to an adjacent building that is being used by a private organization. That's Mr. Trevor Avery's building. Since the last meeting, city staff have prepared and issued an RFP for the demolition and received 6 bids. The lowest responsive bidder requests $51,000 to remove the building and properly dispose of it. That includes the asbestos abatement. Contract will include complete demolition and removal to include asbestos abatement. City staff would recommend and request that the City Council vote to award a demolition contract to Rick Bostic Demolition and Construction Incorporated for the amount of $51,000. We would also ask that you would allow an additional $20,000 for contingency for unforeseen conditions and additional asbestos testing that the city intends to do once the project is underway and completed. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Yeah. Thank you very much for that information. All right, council, you've been asked to approve the budget amendment in the amount of $71,000 necessary to move forward with the demolition of this building and to award the bid to Rick Bostic Construction and Demolition Incorporated for $51,000.
Move for the award of contract to the Bostic Demolition and Construction Company and a budget amendment of $71,000.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Okay. All right. Council, we're going ahead and we have some discussion items that are on number 7 and number 8. And this is and we also have a closed session. 7 is the New Bridge Street Infrastructure Streetscape Project and the Jacksonville Business Park Restrictive Covenants. And at this time, I'm going to take a recess and we're going to go to meeting room A and B to discuss these 2 items in the closed session. All right, so we are back in session in the recess. Now we're going to discuss, we have items 7 and 8, which number 7 would be the New Bridge Street Infrastructure Streetscape Project update. Is that going to be Christie? Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mayor and Council. So we're going to discuss the New Bridge Infrastructure and Streetscape Project. The project area is a 4-block span going from Warlick Street down to the Freedom Fountain. The New Bridge Street project elements include handicap accessibility, corridor landscaping, new striping, large stormwater pipes, new curb and gutter, landscape medians, safer pedestrian crossings, sidewalk enhancements, unloading areas, and new water lines. Here is a picture of Warlick Street and Bordeaux Street with the landscaping medians, those unloading areas, and the enhanced pedestrian crossings. This is Hearth up through Bayshore Street. Same thing with the pedestrian crossings and landscape medians, unloading areas. And this is in front of City Hall up to the Freedom Fountain. This is a rendering of the intersection of New Bridge and Bayshore. As you can see, the stoplights there will actually be in the medians. The street lighting will be upgraded from overhead to underground. I apologize. Coordination strategy, I'm sorry, I went too far. Expectations during construction, we're gonna have lane closures, detours, gravel patches for some time, reduced street lighting, noise and dust, vibration, parking challenges, and pedestrian routes. With those expectations, we have coordination strategies in place. We have already held our business owner meeting. Felt like that went very well. Addressed some concerns that they had, and let them know that those concerns are also our concerns, and we want to reduce those as much as possible. We will also have clearly defined traffic control, well-signed detour routes, good community coordination. That includes a project page that will be updated. We'll keep pushing updates out to the business owners. There's a QR code that we had at the actual business owner meeting that they were able to scan so that they can stay in contact with what's happening with the project. There will be pedestrian fencing and guidance and continued customer access to all the local businesses. The project schedule, they actually plan to begin their mobilization next week, March 1. The 18-month construction period. The anticipated work sequence is we are actually going to install the new water main, and we will actually start that down in front of the Arts Council, working our way up to Warlick Street. We'll cross over the street, come back down to finish in front of City Hall. While that's happening, we will also have the overhead power that will be removed. Then they'll go back up to Warlick Street up by Mr. Riggs' office and start installing the stormwater pipes and boxes. Concrete curbs and medians will come in after that. We'll repave the street and then finish up with our sidewalk work. Do y'all have any questions for me in regards to the project? Yes, ma'am.
I have a sidewalk question.
Okay.
I know originally some of the plans that had been discussed previously included some brick in sections of the sidewalk or a print that looked like brick, and some of them were being left wide, perhaps for outdoor seating, for possible outdoor dining as the downtown area becomes a little more walkable and people friendly. Is that still part of that plan?
Well, I know that the utility strip is where most of the utilities are obviously going to go, water meters and things of that nature. Wally, do you want to chime in on that?
Sure. I think that you can expect most of the area will look like what's in front of Johnson Drugs. So it'll be the kind of that herringbone, it's not really stamped, it was troweled in, but that herringbone pattern with the brick utility strip between there and the back of curb. And then that's where we'll try to relocate all the water meters and those kind of things too.
But the curb line is generally going to be where it is right now.
That's
so
right.
There's not going to be any more distance from the curb to the building.
Yeah, that's right.
During the construction phase and the demolition phase of the roadway and all, I was talking with Mr. Ray earlier that there will be traffic will be able to move in both directions, correct?
We're always going to have one lane of traffic open
in each
direction. Yes.
And also, as far as parking, will there be any parking available on the street?
There will be parking available. Once again, we will coordinate that with the contractor crew and try to push that information out. But yes, there will be parking available.
I just wanted to ask that to allay some of the fears that some of the local business owners that are located there or planning to locate on the Bridge Street have, that may interfere with.
And there is rear parking in some of the business areas as well that will be utilized.
Some of that parking won't be on both sides of the street though when they're doing construction.
That's correct.
So you'll see the lane sort of shift, towards the opposite side of where the construction is. Parking will be there on that side where there's no construction, and 2 travel lanes, 1 in each direction. And then that other half of the street will be under construction.
Can you show that Bayshore New Bridge?
Yes, sir. That one or?
Right, that's the one I'm looking at.
Yes, sir.
Because I guess stoplights on the side. Is there a stoplight in the middle as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's correct.
It's one on each side.
On the islands. Right, I'm looking at that.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question here. You know, traffic lights cost money. Have we ever considered doing like a roundabout or something? Would that work in a place like this?
We didn't identify for this intersection, is that right, Anthony?
Yes.
We did for both, yeah.
Mhm. At the time, that wasn't seen as the favorable solution. A roundabout would fit in there, particularly since we're going from 4 lanes down to 2. But instead, we elected to go with the signals, and instead of having them overhead, they're going to be what we call shoulder mounted, which means they're going to be on a pedestal mounted to the sidewalk.
Well, let me say something about it in terms of safety. And being someone that left Jacksonville and moved to some cities, I ran a whole lot of lights when I first got to those cities because of just being conditioned with those. So I don't know what can be done for warning for that to kind of get people.
I'm sure we'll probably implement
Right.
something like we did with when we removed this stop signs or placed the stop signs at the New Bridge Middle School area. You know, we've put up some additional signage boards saying new traffic patterns, 4-way stop ahead. So I'm sure that will need to be a coordination area that we utilize our traffic signal boards to be able to get that communication out.
Is the speed limit going to remain at 20 miles an hour?
There hasn't been any discussion about changing it at this point, and I don't think that, I mean, I wouldn't recommend increasing it any further than 25 if we wanted to change it. Certainly wouldn't recommend that we go any lower because personally, I don't know if I can get my vehicle to go that slow. That's stopping. So.
Mayor, at this intersection, one of the challenges that you have when you look at the roundabouts is pedestrian safety and trying to get pedestrians from one side to the other. So when you look at this intersection, the way it's designed with traffic calming all the way around the sides, our goal is once we have that hustle and bustle back downtown, we're going to have pedestrians that are going to make crosses all the time through this area. So part of that marketing strategy, once we get the project in, it will show people how you're going to move from point A to point B. Lisa's team will be able to push out information that will get out and utilize that sharing so people start to understand the change. But the lower stoplights, those are a challenge for people to see and start recognizing the pedestrian traffic. It's going to be a challenge, but that's why you have these bump outs and these medians to help give us that calming. And sometimes you see the medians are used as a safe haven. You get halfway across the street, you can grab a pole and hang on tightly and then pray to get across the other side if Mr. Prince's car is coming down the road. But those are concepts, Mayor, that I think we should consider as we're moving forward in other intersections. Anthony's team will continue to look at those.
Well, the one thing about the roundabouts, I think the history on those things are that you reduce the number of crashes for one thing, especially, intersection crashes. I can see your point here for this, rather than the pedestrian traffic.
Pedestrian traffic changes it.
In the center of a downtown is one of those challenges, Mayor.
The other factor too, if you don't mind, Mayor, the cost on the roundabout was significant. Because, yes, absolutely.
Why is that? I figured it'd be the opposite.
Well, there would have been some right-of-way acquisition required and more utility relocation, if I remember correctly. And then there's just more hardscape construction. So, while the roundabout is much more expensive initially, over the long term, some people say that it's lower cost for maintenance. I don't know if I agree with that, but we'll certainly be able to manage, like Mr. Ray said, we'll certainly be able to manage their signals.
But I think maybe in front of Jacksonville High School, don't they have like where the medians, they light up like in the pavement, don't they have like lights? I mean, could they do something like that just to alert people that they're coming to a new change?
Well, typically we'll do something like that, and I think you're talking about Hargett Street.
I was talking about, right there on Henderson, right in front of the high school. The kids walk across, the crosswalk. Don't they have it where they light up in the street too? Oh,
Those are just reflectors, but they work well at night.
Yeah, well,
I think those rumble strips look pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of countermeasures that we could look at down here if pedestrian safety became an issue. But what I would recommend is instead of us doing it, up front, let's see how it operates and then react after the fact. No two ways about it, like Mr. Ray said, and I think the whole intent of this project is to reduce the amount of pedestrian crossing that you have. I can't remember the distance, do you, Christy? But it's something like 90 feet face to face or something out there, isn't it? And so that is yeah, that's a
48
parking.
and 2 parking on each side, so that's 40. That's probably 88, yeah.
Well, I was pretty close. So, the shortened crossing, just like we did at Old Bridge Street, is going to help immensely. No two ways about it. And then there's also going to be countdown signals for the pedestrians, et cetera. So.
I think it'll really make the area
It'd be
look
nice.
really nice. Yeah, it's a good investment.
Mayor, if you have questions, if you receive questions from citizens, like Christy said, we want to send the calls in, and we'll have the project boards around City Hall. We have the QR code where people can click on that and get their information. If they come into City Hall, they'll see those signs. But I think the best way to answer questions is we send them all to Kristen. We just say, here you go, answer them all. So 24/7, 4 o'clock in the morning, she's available and she'll be ready to answer all calls.
Why don't you have a special telephone number to call in with questions?
Well, and we actually,
No, I'm
we
serious.
talked about that on projects. So, in the future, we talk about having a dedicated line for specific projects so they go to the appropriate person
Right.
or to the staff. So one of the things we're doing now is we've talked to Caroline up front to say we're going to route the questions directly to engineering, to project management, so people know where they're going. A lot of times they'll get in the wrong cycle. So part of our education is getting Caroline to be able to switchboard them to the right people. But in the future, I think that's a fantastic plan for us, is to route them with a specific phone number all the time.
Okay. Good work.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you,
Forward
I
to it.
appreciate your time.
Yeah, look forward to it.
Thanks.
Okay. Next, we have the restrictive covenants in the business park.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. I want to share with you a new expertise that John has bestowed on me the past couple of weeks, and that is with restrictive covenants. And it certainly has been a pleasure to work with him on this. As you recall, the business park is where we're working on Project Frontier. And Frontier is where we've gotten some grant money from a variety of sources to make stormwater improvements, as well as a new roadway connection into the park to hopefully make it more appealing for development. As part of that, we're also looking at the restrictive covenants as a way to hopefully make development a little bit more appealing at the same time. So a little bit of history here. The original covenants were recorded in 2005. It appears to me that the intent was to supplement our zoning code at the time because we wanted a higher quality development out of the business park than our codes at the time allowed for or required for. So they've been in place for almost 20 years now. They were amended in 2014 to adjust some of the requirements. So typical requirements of the covenants are, say, setbacks, lot size, parking, all the typical stuff for the most part that you would see in a traditional zoning code. And as I mentioned, they are set to expire on June 30, 2025. We would love for Project Frontier and the full build out of that site to be complete by then. But if that's not going to be made, that may not be the case. So we're going to ask council to also adjust that date. And the covenants do allow for that. So question, why amend? So primarily we're hoping to prepare the the park for market, and be very appealing for private investment through the stormwater, through the roadway, and then what I call streamlining some of the regulations that apply to the business park itself. So there are many provisions in the covenants that currently conflict with requirements of our UDO. And in fact, because they were amended, the initial ones conflict, and then the amended ones conflict to a certain degree, and then we have the UDO. So to figure out what you have to do to build there, you have to go through 3 different documents. And to me, at least, it's quite cumbersome and complicated. So again, we're trying to streamline. We want to reduce some of the redundancy with the city code, particularly regarding nuisances. And then, like I mentioned just a minute ago, extend the expiration date. The key here, though, is while we're trying to streamline and reduce some of those regulatory challenges, we also want to retain some key controls that will allow us to fulfill the obligations that we have to our grantors. So we've gotten about 1.4, 1.2 some odd million dollars that has been awarded to us to do economic development. We want to make sure that the uses and the type of development that occurs in there, complies and forwards those goals of the grantor. And of course, from the city's perspective, we want to see economic development. So here's what we would like to retain, and really this is the easiest way to explain it rather than what we're going to cut. But the covenants have let me start that again. The covenants include a process by which a property owner's review board determines what can be built in there and what should not be built in there. That currently is made up of city staff members since we're the primary property owner within the business park. Now that may change in the future as other owners purchase and build, but that's the way that it is today. So again, they approve the uses. They also have a say over the different building materials that are used for structures within the park. We also want to maintain the requirement for underground utilities. We see above ground poles all over town, and that's something that we would prefer not to do out there if at all possible. And then we'd also like to include or to retain the performance standards as well as the clawback requirements. So basically what that means is if we sell the property to a new owner, they do not perform as has been approved by the review board, then at some point we have the ability to claw that back and then resell it to someone else who's actually going to perform. Hopefully we never have to exercise that, but in case it's there. Some of the things that we would like to remove. Again, I mentioned several of these before. These are typical zoning standards, and all of those are contained within our UDO. Another one at the very end there, the environmental matters, that is addressed by both the UDO as well as the city code regarding nuisances. So we feel like we have redundant coverage there. And that gives us comfort in being able to remove that from the covenants. We also have grading and drainage requirements that we would like to remove. And the primary reason there is because we're doing all the grading and we're designing the drainage. So, we're going to have complete control over that as Frontier moves forward with construction. So, next steps. Actually, again, let's cover that real quickly again because I just kind of breezed through it. In the covenants, these are the things that we would like to retain. Okay, we feel that all of these are value added and are not redundant with the other land use regulations that we have. These we feel are redundant with the UDO and we would like to remove. And then, of course, these are others that are controlled either by the city code or by our own actions, and we feel that they're not necessary to remain in the covenants. So, unless there are any questions or concern by council, our next step is to notify the other owners in the park, because there are 2 parcels that have been built out, Millermont as well as the orthopedic clinic. I don't know what the name of it is anymore.
Carolina East.
So they did build under these provisions, and it's not required, but we feel like it's being good neighbor to inform them of what's going on and give them the opportunity to provide feedback. Depending what happens between now and March, we'd really like to come back to council. May not do a presentation. It really just depends on what we learn from the adjacent owners and if anything changes between now and March. But we would like to see council approve the amendments to the covenants so that we can begin the marketing process as we hopefully move forward in construction of the actual improvements.
Your motion?
No, so we just want.
We don't need any action at this time.
I want to ask you a real quick question with that. Are we, where are we at on that regional stormwater project out there?
That's the next slide. So thank you for reminding me. Actually, I forgot about that slide. So just an update on Frontier in general. All of the grant money is secured. In total, it's about 1.5 million. Okay. The designs are all complete. Some of the permits are still outstanding, like stormwater, as well as, can't remember what the other one is, erosion control. But we do have our wetland delineation from the Corps, which will allow us to move forward with the bidding process. It was advertised, so it was posted yesterday, and hopefully we're going to get some good responses. The bid opening is March 23. And if we do get responses, we'll be back before council in April to hopefully award a contract. The execution period is 90 days. I feel like that's a little aggressive, but we're going to push them to get it done as soon as we possibly can.
Is there any deadline on the project as far as the grants are concerned?
The grant money? We've got plenty of time as far as the grants go, and the grantors, as long as we continue to give them updates on our progress, and actually they're very pleased with what we've done this far, as long as we give them updates, they're willing to extend the money until we're finished with the project. Question is, what are the bids going to look like when we get them? I hope not. Things seem to be leveling out a little bit. I don't know what engineering's seeing, but you know, some of the things that we've seen through DOT indicates that the prices may be leveling.
Well, let's hope so.
So the real question to get it ready for approval, in March, is there any changes that council would like to see from what's proposed right now?
I guess the biggest thing is that intersection on the backside near River Life. Are we addressing that or?
So right now,
The alignment?
right now, we're not planning to realign the roadway, the intersection. So there was a project at one point in time to kind of curve that road a little bit more and connect it with Plantation, but it was just simply cost prohibitive. And so what we're doing with this project though is we are connecting Frontier down the existing roadway. There's a small section that's missing right now between Frontier and I don't know what it's called now, but anyways, we want to make that a throughway out to Gum Branch Road, even though it will be a right-in
How
right
much
out
of
for
a
the time
distance
being.
is that?
I'm sorry?
How much of a distance would that be to cover?
So new roadway construction is approximately 200 feet. So it's a very small project, but then we're probably going to end up doing some rehab of the existing street that's closest to Gum Branch to make sure that it's in condition to hold traffic.
Part of the challenge, Mayor, with the business park is you set out the covenants so that you can restrict the usage that are coming in. But then the challenge for new businesses, when they start doing their research on the website, they're going to pull up our UDO, and that's going to be the first thing they go to. They may not see the overlay districts at their first swath as they go through it. And so then when they come in and they start talking to our team about what they want to develop, they have their preliminary plan and they haven't utilized this overlay district. And that's why you do the overlays. So now you go back on the back end and you look at the things that you didn't necessarily have to have with the overlay, and we want to move those back out. So as Anthony's saying, our process is to make it work better for prospective tenants, but also maintain the integrity of what we're trying to do with the park. And so both of those processes, it gives us a pathway for success, but we need to clean it up to make sure it works out the way we have it in our heads. gonna work. It's gonna be a great park.
I like your confidence.
I know it's gonna be awesome.
That's what we do. We make
Anybody
it
else have any questions, Anthony, on this?
Good job on removing the redundancy, and that also eliminates confusion later if one thing changes and another doesn't, so. Duplication of effort, it will be reduced.
It's a bigger issue, Mayor. You see it throughout when you have a business park. The first thing is Field of Dreams, just get it built. The second thing is they're just going to magically show up. And when we start doing that recruitment of potential businesses, there are challenges that they face. And so this is a nationwide movement to start bringing out items that you want to overlay to make it easier as we're recruiting. Because the same thing when the state calls and they talk to Anthony or talk to Mark, they say, hey, show us what that site looks like and give us everything else that goes with it. If you're throwing too many layers at a potential investor or a business, typically we see they are discerned by additional layers. So the most streamlined process that we can present, the more efficient it's going to be on our side, and hopefully it makes it look friendlier in our recruitment opportunities.
This is going to be very appealing when it's done, because a lot of the carrying costs, the sunk costs in creating a buildable space is already taken care of with the grant money. Stormwater is expensive. It's really expensive, not only to construct, but also in the value of the land that's underneath it. So having that taken care of, plus the additional roadway connectivity is going to be very good, very appealing.
All right, so now that brings us, a motion to go into closed session.
Well,
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, John.
go ahead, Mayor, and close out the regular session because we expect any reportable action. So if you want to get your reports
Yeah,
and so
let's go
forth,
ahead and do
then
that then.
please.
All right, so before we go into closed session, we have our reports for this evening. And, Mayor Pro Tem, do you have anything?
I just report that Onwassa had a rather lengthy meeting about expanding sewer service and agreed to continue with the Swansboro project, bringing sewer on down 24 to the base, and also to purchase the Ploris utility down on down south. So big news, big cost. Yep.
No report.
Mr. Jackson.
I've just been to several different events for African American History Month. They had a Black History Festival. That was great. We had the African American read in and the Recreation Department. Melanie Marzette and Jamia. I forget Jamia's last name, but they hosted a great event. The children did wonderful, which is good to see that. But also, one thing I think about with all this going on is that, I think most of us here agree that we want to take care of people at the end of the day. We just got to figure out together how we do that best in our community. That's all.
Thank you. Mr. Warden.
Proud to be here, sir.
Ms. Edwards.
No report.
Dr. Washington.
Yes, I have just a bit to enlighten council about. So with regards to the Onslow County Civic Affairs, we had our meeting last week, and the 4 honorees that will be honored for the Fabric of the Community Award will be retired Judge Charles Henry, Ms. Sandra Wyatt Crane, Finney and Louise Greggs, and Ron Brown posthumously. Also, the North Carolina MAC just want to let everyone to know that the Military Child of the Year that is sponsored by Operation Homefront this year, I had an opportunity to serve as a judge on the panel, and we did have 10 semifinalists from the state of North Carolina, and out of those 10, we are now down to our 6th finalist. And next month, don't know the date yet, the Military Child of the Year recipient for each branch of the military service will be recognized and announced. Last year, we had the Military Child of the Year for the Marine Corps. And North Carolina is looking very good with those 6 finalists. So we're hoping that we can bring home another winner. I did speak with Rick Long out of General Gaskin's office, and we are looking to host our 2nd annual Military Child of the Year semifinalist award here with the city of Jacksonville. And it looks as if that's going to take place either the 3rd or the 4th week in April. We first have to wait for the gala event to occur at Pentagon City. And once that is over, then General Gaskin's office will be contacting us to let us know which date we're going to utilize. Also, I just wanted to bring to everyone's attention, Ms. Marshburn, I'm hoping that maybe we can put this on our website, that on March the 7th, the Military Affairs Commission announced that the North Carolina Women Military Veterans Summit will be held at McKinney Center, North Carolina State Campus from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So hopefully individuals will be able to attend. Also, Commanding General Nebo will be PCSing to Camp Pendleton, so his change of command will occur on May 25th. Also, NC for me will have 2 hiring events at Camp Lejeune. The most upcoming will be March 21st, and the second will be May 18th. And now that we have our 118th Congress seated in place, the defense committees, for FY23, North Carolina has been slated to receive $395 million towards military projects. And then for fiscal year 2024 through 2027, particularly with Cherry Point, New River Air Station, and Camp Lejeune, it looks like an allocation of budget to be earmarked for $1 billion. So North Carolina is doing very well, so that's what I have to report from the North Carolina MAC committee today.
Military Child of the Year, what is the award? Could they scholarships?
Oh, the Military Child of the Year, the students receive a $10,000 scholarship award. Last year, each recipient and their family received a cruise for 1 week. They also receive other gifts such as 2 or 3 days of event-packed field in Washington, D.C., visiting the museums, attending sports activities. So it's very impressive.
What's the age range of the kids?
The students can be as young as school age, but the majority of the students are anywhere from 12 and older.
Okay.
And so with North Carolina, I do believe our youngest is 13 and our oldest is 18.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, so as most of you were out there today, we broke ground on that new fire station number 4. I think the location there is going to be better than where it was at before, because I think be able to access better to Western Boulevard. You know, before that it was pretty much, the Commons was the easiest. I mean, it was covered, but you still have all those businesses up and down Western Boulevard that probably it took a lot more time to respond to. I think it'll be a nice building. I guess it's being built along the lines of station number 2.
Yes, sir.
But a little bit bigger because they have to accommodate the big truck that goes in there, the $1.9 million truck. Anyway, Mr. Ray.
Thanks, Mayor. I do have a few One City moments I want to share with you as you wrap this part up. You'll see that we have a return offender here on the far left. This is Melanie Dial and Ronald Simmons. On the far right, you have Battalion Chief Strong, and then next to him, Assistant Battalion Chief Ray Sorrell. The fire department was called in for an incident at one of our local hotels, early hours of the morning, 36 degrees, and so they contacted Anthony's team and asked if they could help with moving these people out and transporting them to other locations. Incredible to see the team respond, and not only did they respond with the vehicles, Mr. Simmons showed up and helped people move their belongings in and out of the vehicle, helped one gentleman that was not physically capable to carry his things, took him to the vehicle, helped him to and fro, and then Miss Dial, she decided to work well past her shift so that she could cover so that Mr. Simmons could make this happen. The best part, Mayor, this recommendation comes in from the fire department. As they were called to a service, they asked their fellow team members to help, and these two said, yes, we can. And so the fire department wanted to credit the team at Transportation for stepping up and going well above and beyond their daily responsibilities, not just on time, but in their efforts. So once again, it's great to see people coming back and helping each other. But the best part on this, Mayor, is you see the interaction between the departments and the silos that we talk about. That's how success happens, because neither one of these could do it on their own. They did it together, and our citizens were served. Back to where Mr. Jackson talked about our, I think it's our 19th annual is what I wrote it down, but the African American Read-In. And so you see part of the students here. This took place in City Hall, and the event turnout's fantastic. You're going to see from the pictures here. You actually see Mr. Jackson's head right here in the center. That's the gray area.
Wow, it's great. Was it snowing? I was thinking it must have been snowing.
The weather.
But Mr. Jackson already mentioned that Susan and Melanie and Jamia, this event is phenomenal in the effort they put in. But you see the interaction. There they are on the left. There's Mr. Jackson on the right. Mr. Jackson actually did some reading at the event, which can be seen through the video, which was very impressive to see our people being engaged with one another in the community. And this is all part of the ongoing celebration of Black History Month that we have going on right now. And the events are fantastic. You love seeing the kids active and about, but we also had the adults that came out and had some portrait readings and some other presentations, Mayor. So an awesome event for us here in the community. You can go back, and most of our previous years are captured online. So I encourage people to watch the previous years and see our kids perform. It's a blessing here in the community. It truly is an awesome event here at City Hall. You can see their hard work has been appreciated, and they've been recognized. And it's a fantastic, fantastic group. Mayor, this is the last thing I wanted to share with you, because this is a new event that we just brought in this year. Working with the TDA and with our Recreation Department, we brought in the
Carolina gloves.
Thank you. Carolina gloves. And the impact here is not the fact that these guys and gals are bad dudes, but the fact that the economic impact from the numbers that we've seen come back. It's the second largest tracked economic sports event in Jacksonville, actually in the greater Onslow County area. So when you talk about these numbers, this 3-day event had a potential economic impact, $255,150. So that's a big deal. That's generated from an estimated 675 room nights, 182 boxers, 86 coaches, 30 officials, and the average stay for these individuals was 3 nights. So to be here at the event, these are the things that the TDA looks at to say, how do we generate an economic impact here in the community? And I mean, she tells you it's an impact, so we're just going to agree and not ask any questions. But think about it, Mayor. Part of our challenge is it's always that facility. And so we displaced our recreation programs for the weekend, but we displaced it for a reason. And we brought in people from, it looks like 15 plus or minus states. I think there was only 15 of the athletes were from a small region. Everybody else was from across the country. It looks like we have Texas fighters, Ohio, Michigan.
Puerto Rico too, if I remember correctly.
Canada.
Definitely Canada too. Yeah. So this is part of the challenge of us to create the space, but then to bring in the events. And it was a huge success. I know that the TDA and the Sports Commission and all the partners are excited about what happened on this one event. And for Susan's team to be able to come in, make this available, help with some setup, and then get us to this point. We look forward to the next event, Mayor, because it was fantastic.
I'd like to know when it is, so.
Yeah,
check it
that's.
out.
If you want to get registered, Mayor, we'll get you a registration form.
They don't want none.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Mr. Carter.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have, it's more like a one city moment too, but Nick Lanier presented tonight on 208-212. Nick didn't do that alone. There was Jason Larson, Tracy Jackson, Brian Kelly, Danny Bryan, and others that worked. Remember when I told you that probably $100,000, but you saw tonight it came in at $51,000. A lot of that goes to Nick Lanier. He is your new city engineer. Let me just give you one example. Number one, we want this building to be taken down beginning the preparation work on Friday afternoon. Take it down on Saturday and Sunday when you don't have lawyers and clients walking to the courthouse, etc. You can understand that. He went, number one, the landfill, number two, the landfill is closed except for Saturday morning. As I understand, if you want to go to the landfill, get in line because everybody else wants to go on Saturday morning. Nick went and found somebody in Wallace, North Carolina, who said, I'll be glad for y'all to dump this behind the skating rink on 258, just down the road, you know where the skating rink is. And he says, I won't charge you but $50 a load. Just put your brick in there and so forth. So from what I understand, it went from about $300 a load, and we didn't know how we were going to deal with it because we couldn't get it. But he found he went out of the way, and we just need to appreciate him, and he is just an asset, and we hope that he'll be with the city a long, long time. We need a city engineer, and he's certainly doing well. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. All right, with that, I would entertain a motion to go out of closed session.
Go into
closed session. I'm sorry, we ain't even been there yet, have we?
Not yet.
So we'll go into closed session. Everybody good with that?
Second.
All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay.